bank robbery is a fun activity to partake in, but because the government is boring and hates fun, it's illegal. So instead, we must resort to video games to avoid a prison sentence. Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, sequel to the best game ever made that I covered last time here on the channel. A game so good that you should buy it. If my last video didn't convince you, then that leaves me with no choice but to invade your living space. Released very recently, back on January 18th of this year, and man, what a game it was. Just like the original, this one is in fact a damn good game, and to an extent, maybe a little bit better than the original in some aspects. So yeah, let's just stop wasting time and get into it. When you open up the game, you are met by 3 mysterious eyes. This is like a dream I had once. This is where you can basically change the difficulty of the game. One of the 3 eyes asks you which playstyle you prefer, between a regular like casual playstyle and in a more hardcore, challenging playstyle. After that, we get to the menu screen, and damn, that music goes hard. So the beginning of the game, it takes place 2 days after the events of Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. Apparently, killing Mayor Onion led to a civil war breaking out, and we start off as a shadow silhouette with the dead mayor in the background. It's giving Evangelion vibes. You get a call from the pickle man Dilatini, who we last saw in a jar in Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, now telling us he has a job for us.
Hey, is this a bad time? I got a job for you, a big one. Come meet me if you want the deeds.
So yeah, we walk to the right in a side-scrolling segment that honestly looks really good. I love all of this. It's beautiful. Turnip Boy trips right in front of Dilatini, and he explains to us what all went down when we took down the mayor. A whole lot of shit went down. War, infighting, tax fraud. No! Dilatini recruits you to join him in robbing the largest bank in the world. And here we get a tutorial that teaches us the basics of the game. Hi, I'm Inferno Fury. You are watching our visual guide on how to properly commit bank theft. If you are watching this, then that means you yourself are becoming an aspiring bank robber, but are unsure of what it takes in order to pull off the perfect heist. Well, never fret, because I will be giving you the necessary advice to get away with the crime of a lifetime. Tip number 1, grab a gun. As the legendary Donald Glover once said, this is America. Once you finish the tutorial, you are pretty much just thrown right into the game. And just like Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, it's a pretty simplistic game. I do think this game has a little bit more to it. However, it's not that deep. It's not any deeper than the original game. So the game is kind of like a roguelike or a roguelite. I'm not sure which one. It's one of the two. I don't know. I've heard it get called both things, which is a pretty drastic change in genre from the first game. The basic gameplay loop has you going in, breaking through a wall with a truck, and then rushing to collect as much money without dying and within the time limit, and killing anyone that tries to kill you. In your first run, you won't be able to do much. It's pretty much to give you a little bit of a taste of what the game has to offer. You start off with the soil sword from the last game and the pistol because, yeah, giving an adorable creature a firearm is in fact comedy gold. In the top corner of your screen, you will see a timer that will go off after 3 minutes. What that timer basically means is that in 3 minutes, the SWAT comes busting down doors to kick your ass. Am I exaggerating? Yeah, but to an extent, not really. When the timer runs out, enemies will just spawn in waves. The more enemies you kill, the stars kind of just go up as like a wanted level, until eventually, after making it through 5 stars and then Stinky over here gasses the place, you can go up to random civilians like these guys here and pick them up and shake them down for all they're worth. Not only scaring the shit out of them, leaving them with potential trauma and PTSD, but you also get a few bucks out of it, so it's a win-win for everyone. You will end up also needing to use your weapons to kill enemies here, like these guards that can range from a decent amount of enemies, mostly just random food items turned into guards and police officers. However, there are some animals here. The first run is not very eventful, however. You aren't able to really do much. You're only able to carry a very limited amount of money at first, and most of the bank is blocked off for now. After finishing that first run, though, you are then taken to the safe house, where you can get upgrades, buy equipment that's necessary to progress the story, change your loadout, all that stuff. In terms of upgrades, it's very basic stuff. You can increase how much health you have. You start at 3 hearts, but maxing it out at 6. There's also an upgrade that can increase the timer from 3 minutes up to 6. Even upgrades to increase your trip distance and increases the chance of finding better weapons. The other upgrades though, I'm not really sure what they do. Maybe I'm stupid. Yes. Most importantly, you can even upgrade how much money you can pick up in a single run, which is probably one of the most important upgrades to worry about besides your health and maybe the timer. You can use the computer here in the safe house to make illegal purchases on the dark web. This is all necessary stuff that you'll need to progress the story, and some side quest stuff, like buying a body pillow for $69. What do you think he's gonna do with that? You can also buy a pickaxe, which can be used to unlock more of the bank, which also gets you items that will add more to the amount of money you rack up each run. There's even C4 that can open up vaults, and a laser that opens up safes. In terms of weapons, there is a small amount of base weapons that you can bring into your runs. These weapons have unlimited ammo, and when you die, you do not lose these weapons at the end of a run. When you start off the game, you only have the soil sword and a pistol, both alright weapons. They get the job done, but of course you'll end up discovering even more powerful weaponry. While you are going around robbing the bank, any enemies you kill have a chance to drop weapons of many varieties, like a cactus gun, a flower saw blade, a frog that shoots fireflies. There are many different kinds of weapons. From all the ones I have used, they are all viable weapons, however. But at the end of each run, you can actually use the weapons you pick up off of enemies and turn them into this guy here, which will give you XP towards leveling up to unlock you a new weapon. All the weapons vary in how much XP they give. The base weapons that you can choose from in the safe house cannot be used towards leveling up, and there is only 10 levels, so not too many new weapons to unlock. The weapons you do unlock though are somewhat interesting, not really though. You got a shotgun, a rifle, an Uzi, a grenade launcher, a rocket launcher, a chainsaw, which I actually like using. I like using the chainsaw a lot. And this atomizer. Honestly, I was expecting more of a nuke. I'm a bit disappointed it only just evaporates people, but you know what, it's not that bad. At first I thought the base weapons here having unlimited ammo would be an issue, basically not giving you any reason to use any of the weapons dropped by enemies. And to an extent, yeah, honestly, like you really don't need to once you unlock certain weapons. But the weapons that are dropped still are pretty good. Some of them I do think are better than the safe house weapons. Besides the grenade launcher, I think that one's just top 3 overall. Let's talk about the bank you're robbing. It's a very intriguing bank. The first area of it is normal, but then you have this like forest, then some decrepit basement, then a haunted mansion, and a sewer. In the sewer, you can even find the back rooms by walking through this spot in the wall. All around the map, you can even find elevators that can take you to a different room. These are randomized with every run, so you will not find the same floors in the same place every time. Some of them include just extra spaces where you can find saves and vaults and stuff. There is this one satanic looking one where you can fight a few waves of enemies, which will drop these pretty cool weapons. There's also this locker room floor. It has a locker and a character that has a side quest here, but besides that, it's really pointless. Or this fire door, which leads to this guy. This guy can give you this big ass scythe that can take souls, so that's pretty cool. Giving him these souls also gives you new songs that will play. It's a pretty cool thing. And while I continue to derail this video into an even more unorganized mess, let's talk about the music. Again, just like the last game, it's a vibe, honestly. Although I definitely think I like the songs in this game more than Tax Evasion, but it's very close in terms of which is better. This song specifically just goes insane. The hats in this game are pretty cool. There is a lot of them. My personal favorite though is definitely the Doug Dimmadome hat, but there is a lot of other ones that are just adorable. The humor is pretty much intact with this one too. I personally find it funny as it appeals to my sense of humor for the most part. It's not for everyone, but I think it's funny most of the time. But if you found the last game funny, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say you might even find this one a bit humorous.
Hey, the name's Frank. How you doing? Oh, me? You know, I'm having an existential crisis, but other than that, I think I'll be fine.
Now this is the important thing that I even care the most to talk about, and that's the boss fights. There's a total of 5 main ones, then 1 extra one, and I think they're a little bit of a step up from the first game for the most part. First one is with this potato guy. He will run around shooting at you, but once you've lowered about a third of his health, he will jump onto his chair and snipe you for a bit, and then he'll go back to running around. He kind of just repeats that. It's not special, but it's alright, it's not bad. The second one is with this poison apple thing. He will start off in the air and shoot things at you. I don't think you can damage him, so you just have to wait and try to not take any damage from enemies spawned or any of his homing missiles. After a bit of time, he gets sleepy and drops to the ground. Unlike the Potato Man, you can actually take him down the first time he drops to the ground. It's a bit of a challenge at first, but it's not bad, and honestly, I think it was a decent boss fight. The third boss fight is with Chad. He was one of the radish guys from the last game. He's a robot, and he acts pretty similar to the Potato Man. He will chase you and try to attack you, but after damaging him a bit, he will hop into the middle, unable to take damage. But then he tries to kill you with a laser, which seems scary till you realize you can stand still behind a box until he's done. But not only that, he overlaps the screen with low quality slime and soap videos the closer you get to killing him, basically just to block your vision. It's funny, I'll give it that, but it really doesn't add much of a challenge to the fight. The fourth boss fight is this giant man. Basically, he just sits here. After a bit of damaging him though, one of his hands will come off and chase you. It's alright. It's not a crazy boss fight. I kind of expected something a bit more better. Each of these 4 boss fights, upon defeating them, they will drop a special weapon of some kind. The potato drops either a sniper or a toaster machine gun. The apple drops like a wand thingy. Chad drops a... I don't know what that is. The giant man drops a giant diamond sword. None of these boss fights are very challenging in my opinion. However, I do think they are a bit more fun than the ones in the last game. There is this extra boss fight which is on one of the randomized elevator floors. It's with the Super Fox. This guy sucks. For me, he kept turning invisible, but I've seen someone else's gameplay and he wasn't turning invisible. I'm not sure if this is a bug, but it confuses the hell out of me. Other than that, it's nothing special about the fight. It's okay. Then we got the final boss fight of the game. I don't like it. So to kick things off, you will need to buy these rockets towards the end of the game, and then start a run and go and fight the 4 main bosses on each corner of the map. When you defeat them, you gotta place a rocket in the middle of each room. Once that's done, you go to the middle part of the map and activate the rockets, which will end up taking parts of the bank up into space. And then you have to run from these aliens and turn off all the rockets. Once you turn all 4 of them off, you need to go back to the middle, but good luck with that. You get chased by a spaceship, then other aliens will spawn to try and kill you, and you are also chased by this dumbass blueberry that is invincible and really fast. It's not fun. You may be thinking to yourself,
Seems to be a skill issue.
Personally, I think this final boss fight is worse than the final boss fight in the last game, but by the end of it, after successfully shutting off all 4 rockets and outrunning the aliens and making it back to the middle of the map, Dilatini ends up sacrificing himself to kill the alien, and the game ends there. Yeah, that's it. Despite the game taking a different approach to its gameplay, it really didn't take that much longer to beat. If Turnip Boy commits tax evasion, took about 2 to 3 hours to beat. Turnip Boy robs a bank, only would take about 3 to 4. Once you beat the game, there really isn't much to do. Replayability is honestly as non-existent as it was in the last game, unless you forgot to do all the tasks that are in the game, and you don't have every achievement. Which I, in fact, went for, and that makes it technically my first game that I've 100% completed. You don't count. I hate you. Overall though, I really enjoyed the game. It's really fun. Not a very long experience, but for what it is, it's great in my opinion. The overall gameplay loop is somewhat addictive. I didn't really run into any bugs, unless Super Fox becoming invisible counts, but I'm not really sure. I want to bring up the music again, because yeah, it's pretty good. I love the music. Although I can't seem to find a lot of it on YouTube, but maybe that's just me. Hold up, let me become Fantano for a second. I give this game a light to decent 8. What are you waiting on? Death threats. The game is pretty good though. I really recommend it if this is your kind of thing. And that's all I got for this video. A very, very unorganized video that I was just too lazy to make. Now time to go back to working on boring videos like a Need for Speed review. Make sure to like the video and subscribe before you leave. And if you enjoyed the video, good. Now goodbye.